Hey everybody, this is herculespetix, founder, curator, docent, and gift shop employee of the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies. Today we're going to be looking at the Eltingville Club by Evan Dorkin. This came out in 2015, published by Dark Horse Comics, and it's kind of a grand finale to probably 2 decades worth of short stories that Evan Dorkin has created about these guys. The Eltingville Comic Book Science Fiction Fantasy Horror and Role-Playing Club. And it's a pretty great strip that really skewers all of these communities. And, you know, deservedly so sometimes. Speaking as at least one of these I'm a hardcore nerd of, and the other genres I'm a mild novice nerd at. But they're pretty funny and kind of scathing. Some of it's pretty, like, dark satire where it's just like, oh, that's a little too close to home. Like, you know, this is making me cringe. But here they are in their teenage glory. But this is them as adults. It takes place, I don't know, 10 years later. And we see what's happened to all of these guys. And except for one of them, it's not pretty. And I think it's a really, this is some powerful shit. I was like, it's really cringeworthy, almost like a really good, you know, show like the British Office. But it's even beyond that, where it's got this hatefulness underneath some of these characters. It's almost like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, that movie with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. It's like, oh man, I almost can't watch this. These people are so foul. So let's crack this open. A nice cover by Evan Dorkin, of course. He does everything in this. And this is some of the latest Dorkin I've seen, art-wise. And man, he's really gotten pretty tight with his art. So the title is Lo, There Shall Be an Epilogue. So we start off at the San Diego Comic-Con. And man, just the graphomania he's got going on with all these crowd scenes. It's pretty amazing. Of course, there's a lot of Deadpools. So this is a snapshot of a certain period in time. I'm sure you'll see a lot of Deadpools now if you went to a Comic-Con too. But Tusken Raider there. And we hear just all this dialogue of all the people kind of giving us a sense of how chaotic and crazy the San Diego Comic-Con is now. Just overcrowded and just lots of weird people. And we zoom in on Bill. Bill was kind of the leader of the Eltingville Club. And he's looking through these old comic books. Of course, we just hear this dealer talking to this other guy. And just like his dialogue is like, you know, Evan Dorkin knows his stuff. He was a total dorky nerd, you know. So it's like that really good satire where you really have to know it to make fun of it. And maybe even love it a little, you know. Like Harvey Kurtzman used to say. So while they're chatting, Bill drops a rare comic book into his duffel bag. I guess he just does this, goes around stealing comics. Someone taps him on the shoulder and he's like, I didn't do anything. He's freaking out thinking he got caught. But it turns out to be Jerry, his old friend from the Eltingville Club. Jerry was the D&D one. He was kind of the wimpier one, I guess, the one that they picked on the most because he was kind of, you know, not as testosterone-fueled. And he looks very different. And Bill's kind of surprised. He's like, yeah, I've been working out, taking care of myself. I'm here at the Comic-Con for a meeting, kind of a business meeting. And it's kind of awkward because the Eltingville Club dissolved very rancorously. It was not a lot of good feelings. And if you've ever read the comics, I mean, these guys did terrible things like burn down comic stores, and they got into some really just harsh misadventures, you know. But they have a good laugh, and it seems like, you know, they're remembering some good times. And, you know, they've gotten older. Hopefully they can, hang out now. So he says, hey, you know, I'm about to go to this meeting, a lunch meeting. You want to come with me? I don't think they'll mind. So Bill says, okay, really? Okay, sure. And of course, there's just many opportunities to just make jokes about fandom as they're walking around. Bill is just saying multiple things about cracking jokes. Evan Dorkin's pretty funny. He makes some good cracks. And when they get to the meeting, it turns out it's not a business meeting. It's Jerry was meeting up with Josh and I forgot his name already. Josh and Pete from the Eltingville Club. Now they have a lot more against Bill. They're just like, what? You brought this motherfucking piece of shit? And they're just about to attack each other. And Jerry's like, come on, guys. You know, that was a long time ago. Let's just see if we can get along, you know? We had some good times together. We were kind of friends, you know? So Jerry's really changed. This comic is mostly hopeful that, like, yeah, even like a total, you know, whatever, almost incel person can grow and change. But these guys are they haven't changed at all. It's kind of sad. They're just as foul, maybe fouler. Maybe they've honed their like misanthropy and misogyny and over the years. So they all kind of catch up. They decide, okay, fine. Hey, you know, they did like each other's company because they're such nerds. Turns out that, God damn it, Pete was the horror one. He was into horror movies. And turns out he's kind of a gopher at this horror porn company. I guess that's a thing. There's companies that put out, you know, like horror porn. So it's got gore and it's got hardcore sex. Here's a chance for Evan Dorkin just to be clever and funny. He's listing off all of these horror porn titles. Porn of the Dead, Last Whorehouse on the left, Penthouse Pet Cemetery. I like that one. I Know Who You Did Last Summer. An American Werewolf in Your Ass. So he seems pretty happy. He's like, you know, because he's a total sexist pig. So he's like, oh yeah, I just get to, every now and then I get some of these fucked up porn stars who are all high, and every now and then they'll fuck me, and I'm working in the industry I love, even though it's pretty peonish. Next, we talk to Josh, and Josh has become has a pretty successful nerdy website about comics, which, you know, is exactly the kind of heights that you could imagine him scaling to. But he has dreams that he could actually write for DC, and because he has all these connections, and he's pretty hopeful. And, you know, he's proud as hell that he has a pro pass to the Comic-Con just from being that kind of guy, a nerd wog. Now we find out what's going on with Bill. And Bill is not doing too good. So Bill had a little success. He started this business called Pristine Mint, which was a weird, this is probably a thing. Rich clients who have all of these amazing collectibles, expensive memorabilia, they don't have time to take care of it. So he had a service where he would, you know, organize your comics, bag and board them, like do all this stuff, dust your busts, dust your busts, and all shit like that. And of course, because Bill's such a fuck up, he ruined the business. He stole from his clients. He would just sit around reading comics all day instead of doing his job. So that went to hell. Of course, he's so in denial. He's just like, I just don't want to have a job where I have to, you know, lick shit and kiss people's asses. So I didn't work out. But no, he's just a loser. And then we hear from Jerry, and Jerry's doing great, and actually is doing great. Like, mentally, seems like he's in a good place. He is happy. He's really into the Magic the Gathering thing, doing the pro circuit. And he's met a lot of good people, and that's what he cares about more than anything. So he's just become a well-rounded, good adult human being, unlike these other three. And then we go into this thing just to show that they haven't changed at all. Pete, I'm not going to check again. I am going to check. God damn it. Pete, the horror one, and Josh. They just start looking at all the female cosplayers and just totally, being totally sexist assholes. This chubby power girl. They're like, way too much play in that cosplay. And they see a Zatanna, and they're like, Zatanna ain't Mexican. It's fishnets, not fishing nets, you cow. How do you say fat ass backwards? So they're just being total dicks. And of course, Jerry's not into it. And Jerry's like, come on, guys. And then Bill joins in, more from a nerdy angle. And we realize that these guys they're really bad people, Josh, who's I can say this because I'm as fat as Josh. He's a big fucking fat ass. He says, certain people shouldn't be allowed to cosplay. No big-ass Batgirls, plus-size Poison Ivies, chunky Chun-Lis, or skanky Slave Leahs. They really believe this shit. And Jerry tries to just say, come on, guys, they're just having fun. And they all turn on Jerry, like they always did. Just because he's trying to be decent. They're like, oh, what are you, pussy? Fuck you. And then this really hot babe dressed up as a Ghostbuster is seen in the crowd. And they all start, just being total sexist pigs, She'd look good slimed, huh? Tell me you wouldn't cross the streams to get to her ass. And the whole time, Jerry's kind of like, guys. And they're getting worse and worse. Like, these guys are probably all virgins still. They're really just, well, except for Pete. And it turns out she's actually a correspondent for Nerd News Tonight. One of those podcasts, blogs, She's like a big nerd, a celebrity nerd. And she walks right up to the table, and they all start freaking out. They're like, oh my God, she's coming this way. And then she goes right up to Jerry. Says, hey, sweetie. Turns out Jerry's dating her. Of course, they are just fucking gobsmacked. And instantly, Bill starts being a dick. He's like, we've never had a girl before at our meetings. And, this woman's used to these kind of people. She dances with nerds, every day. So she just starts questioning him and kind of whatever. She's not really offended. I mean, she's grown a thick skin. So she's just like, oh, well, blah, 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 asking him stuff. And they start reminiscing about all their fun times. A lot of these are actual comic strips that they're describing here. We do find out one thing here where Josh, the one thorn in his paw, being a blogger, having his little website about comics. There's this one guy for years, Greedo729 or whatever, that's his, his handle. He's been harassing him for years, just telling him how shitty his fan fiction is. Like saying really mean stuff. People on the internet can be really cruel. Just like saying, you should kill yourself. You're so bad. It's like, that's his nemesis, his white whale. And so now Bill is just, this is what I'm talking about, where it's almost like, Edward Albee, where like Bill's just getting too It's not good-natured ribbing anymore. It's not even kind of mean ribbing. It's full-on, just like where Bill is just screaming at Josh, telling him what a fat pile of shit he is. Like, just complete cruel shit. I mean, they always talk to each other like that, though. And then Bill goes on this crazy rant. Look at him. Almost looks like Gilbert Hernandez here. He just starts yelling at Jerry's girlfriend. And I'm sorry I didn't get her name. Yeah, see? I'm as misogynist as the guys in this club. Her name is Mandy. And it is harsh. Like, he's calling her a cunt. He's saying women always cunt everything up. He's calling her a twat. And he keeps mentioning how, that's why the club is bitch free. We have to stay bitch free. And of course, she is just like, oh, wow. This is beyond what I'm used to from these, weird incel nerds. Even Pete says, I'm someone who thinks of women as pretty much receptacles. And even I'm offended by that shit. And so they all just walk off and leave Bill. And, Mandy's got a thick skin, like I said. And she's like, it's okay, Jerry. I'm used to this shit by now, Whatever, there's guys like that. And Bill chases after them, almost like, come on, guys. Don't be dicks. I'm apologize. And then she's getting angrier and angrier because they won't turn around. And Bill says, oh yeah, let me tell you about your pals there. You know why that girl in high school stopped talking to you? It's because I told her you were going around telling everyone she fucked you. And all of these guys back me up on Facebook. Your so-called friends that you're walking away with now. And Jerry thinks back to that girl. I guess he had a total crush on her. And Jerry fucking just slugs him and starts beating the shit out of him. The other guys have to hold him back. And so Jerry says, fine, you guys want to know another little secret? Bill is Greedo 318. That's the number, sorry, not 728. And of course, Josh is just like, motherfucker. And I guess Pete doesn't like Greedo either. And they just start beating the shit out of him some more. They stumble into this line, waiting to see Jim Steranko to get books signed, and the whole line falls. I mean, this is like Joe Sacco level. In fact, some of these faces almost look like Joe Sacco. Look at the detail in here. Every little arm, and it's crazy. Really tight inking. This is just super tight inking. And so they're all just like, oh my God, we've killed Steranko. We'll never work in comics again. We'll be pariahs. Even Jerry's freaking out, even though he's kind of responsible. I mean, he did punch Bill, start the fight. And Bill takes control of the situation, grabs a megaphone that some booth guy was using. Well, doesn't just grab it from him, he breaks his nose with it. And then, as a distraction, he says, attention, there's a surprise Firefly reunion with Joss Whedon. And we see the crowd's reaction, and everyone's just like, oh my God. And it's a stampede. So Bill figures they'll be able to get away with all this chaos. He falls off the table right into basically a mosh pit of stampeding Firefly fans, and he's getting stomped by their feet. And he really thinks he's gonna die. He's like, oh my God, please don't let it end this way. So later on, he falls unconscious, and he wakes up bruised and bloodied in the ghost mobile that Mandy was driving. All four of them snuck in. So they're in there for safety. They can't drive away. The crowd is just like totally swamping them. I mean, once again, guys, look at this. I was staring at this for like 3 minutes last night, trying to see all the different things in it. So many little nerdy references. So they're just all just devastated. And all Bill can do is talk about like super nerd shit about how you called us the Ectomobile. That's the car from Ghostbusters. That's the technical name, I guess. He's like, the interior doesn't even match. Yeah, it just goes to show you your girlfriend's a fake fan. She's just a poser, you know? And so they all start arguing again because that's what these guys do. And they all start turning on Jerry. And Jerry just, look at his face. Jerry's usually a sweet, nice guy, but he just looks like he's going to murder someone. And finally, he just opens the door and slams it and says, do what you want, guys. I don't care. I'm going to look for Mandy. Because Mandy got lost in the crowd. And then, this is kind of an apropos ending for the Eltingville Club. They're just sitting in the car. No one's talking to you, knows what to say. And then, but of course, Bill the only thing he can think to say is, you know what? The new Slimer design suck balls. Looks like Belial from Basket Case. They're remaking Basket Case, you know. They'll fuck it up. And the other guys are like, yeah, they always do. And so they're just going to be these guys till they're 90. And then I like how Evan signs it at the end. The end, finally. So I'm pretty sure Evan Dorkin probably is, got sick of these comics. It's like you lie down with dogs, you get fleas. You don't want to even make fun of this world anymore, I think. It's just done. I think it's a great capper, though, to the whole series. I mean, this is, I think one of my favorite Evan Dorkin things I've ever read. It's, I was actually, really just, almost felt devastated. I was like, holy shit, these people. Oh, my God. And, of course, I really like the art in this. It's, he's really tightened up his chops in the teens. He doesn't, I don't even know if he draws anymore. Seems like all he does is write now. So that's it for this issue, except for the back cover, as I showed you earlier. And it makes me want to go back and read the Eltingville Eltingville Club comics I do have. Just to see, I think I've probably over the years read the bulk of them. There's even a cartoon you can see on YouTube. It was a pilot for Comedy Central or Adult Swim. And there's a whole cartoon episode on YouTube if you look it up. So there you go, guys. The Eltingville Club by Evan Dorkin. The grand finale climax to the saga. And hope you enjoyed looking at it with me today. And I hope to see you next time here at the herculespetix Academy of Comic Book Studies.